You are welcome back. This will be the second video in our introduction to AutoCAD. I'm still Engineer Peter. Now, the last time I was talking about changing the color, we look at the interface. Please don't mind me. I will spend some time on this introduction because I would like you to be comfortable with AutoCAD interface. In my experience as a teacher, as a trainer, I discovered this is where many students miss it. This is where they miss it, and they may not understand the interface, and they run into a lot of issues. I wouldn't want my students to experience that. Now, here we have changed the background to white, but what about this graph something? Well, if you are into architecture, you may need it. You may need it. But I've seen many architects that don't use this grid interface. Now we are going to turn it off, and that will lead us to what we call drafting setting toolbar. This is the toolbar we have here. Drafting setting toolbar. Drafting setting, I think in America they call drawing drafting, the British call it drawing, and I'm from Africa, so we follow British drawing. Now this is drafting setting or drawing setting toolbar. Here we have the model or paper space. So when you click it, it's going to change your drawing interface to paper space. This is where you prepare your drawing for final presentation. This is where you do annotation. This is where you put title block. This is where you make it ready for printing. You notice that immediately I click on that, this thing switch from model. There's another thing here. This is a view toolbar. Layout stroke model toolbar. So it switched from model to layout 1. You can have as many layouts from the same drawing. I can have a layout called orthographic, isometric, I can have exploded, I can have front view, side view, and so on. I can create, just click on this plus button, you have a new layout. So when we click on model, what do you notice? I'm still in layout here, but this thing has changed to model. So that means I can access the model layout and the paper layout of my drawing from here. So I can change from paper to model layout. Now the question is, what is model? What is paper layout? Well, let's come back to model here. In the model space, you make your raw drawing. All your drawings are made here. You make your drawing the way you want it to be. Then in the layout space, you prepare your drawing for export, for printing, for publishing. So that is what happens. That is what you do here. You toggle between model and layout space. Model space, layout space. But this model button under the drafting setting toolbar, now I call this, look at my mouse, I call this area drafting setting toolbar. Good. What is the function of this model button? It allows me to access the model space inside the layout. So what I did in the raw space, I can do similar thing in the layout space, provided this button here is model. But when it turns to paper, so I can only do anything possible in the paper space. So that is the essence of this. Now let's go back to model space. Then this button, we call it grid mode, and the shortcut is F7 on your keyboard. So if I click on it, I can turn off the grid lines. You turn it off. When you click on it back, you enable it. Okay. I prefer it turned off. Alright. Then here we have what we call snap mode. you can enable it, and when you enable it, when you begin to draw, the next point will jump to the snap setting you have set. So if I go to snap setting, right click, let me come back, you right click on this, you go to snap setting, you can make your point, the point you're trying to be snappy to certain distance along x-axis or along y-axis. So you can set the snap spacing. So that is the essence of that. If I change this one to 20, for example, okay, and I have OK. So you see it jumping about. So that is it. Now all these things coming up, all these arc and so on, we are going to deal with that one later. But let me just be true with this. So let me disable that. I don't like it because I want my drawing to be smooth. I want to move smoothly the way I want. Alright, I'm pressing the escape button to release the mouse. Then let's come to auto mode. When I enable it, I can only make drawing vertically and horizontally. So when I click on line button and I click it, I can only draw line vertically and horizontally. Vertically, horizontally. I can't draw line at any other angle. So that is auto mode. You disable it. Then let's come to polar tracking. When you place your mouse on any tool, the name is going to appear after after maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Okay? When you enable polar tracking, you can make drawing at any angle you want. So it's tracking the angle. Can you see? Excuse me. That is the essence of polar tracking. Alright. Then we have object snap tracking. This one allows us to track position of point and align some other point to it. Let me put a point here, and I want to, okay, let me do another one here. Now all these boxes and hack appearing, they are very annoying, but never mind, I will show you how to disable them. Click here. I want to go and click the middle of this point, okay, the end of this point, but I'm not clicking the end. I want to track it. I want to track it down. You see, that is object snap tracking appearing. You know, it's giving me intersection down, so I can locate the perpendicular alignment to that point. Click there and complete my rectangle. So, well, if you don't understand that, practically we're going to see that later. So that is the essence of object snap tracking. Then we have the object snap. The object snap is a feature. When you enable it, it allows you to pick exact point in your drawing. Let me give an example. I click on line, and I want to draw a line from the middle of this upper side of my rectangle and join it to the middle of the lower side. But I can't pick the middle, so I need to come to object snap, right click it, and make sure I enable the midpoint. Alright, my midpoint is enabled. I can go back to line, pick the midpoint. You see, the triangle symbol allows me to pick the exact mid value, the exact midpoint of this upper line of my rectangle. So I click on it and I come straight down. I can click on the midpoint of the opposite side. So we use object snap to pick exact point. Now let me disable it. Let's disable it. Let me try. Okay, I disable it. Let me click on this line and press delete on my keyboard. I delete it and I come back. I click on line and I want to pick the exact midpoint. You know, nothing is coming out for me to guide me to be able to pick the exact point. So because I've disabled the object snap, so I need to enable it back. You see, then I can pick the end point here. This is end point. End point is a square. You can see something like X, that is intersection. I'm going to show you the usefulness of all those object snap. Then we have some other ones. Show annotation object, disable it, disable every other one. We have a workspace switching. Now let me talk about workspace switching. Now when we click on it, you can change the interface. You can change the interface. When you come here, you can click on 3D Basic. Wow, things are changing. If you are very keen, you notice that my home tab has changed. The ribbons have changed. My tools are gone. The line I was speaking here is here. It's rearranged. The focus is on 3D tools, box, extrude, revolve, loft, sweep. You see? So that is, you can change your workspace. We call this one workspace switching button. This thing that looks like a sprocket or like a gear. So you can change to 3D modeling. That one will give you more advanced 3D tools. So you see them, and you can change back to the basic drafting and annotation. So that is what I would recommend for beginners. Here I can even do 3D drawing under this workspace. So this is where we change our workspace in AutoCAD. You can even rearrange your tools and save your workspace with the name you want. Don't let us do that for now. But you notice that my command toolbar is floating again. So what do? I will use the tool holder here beside this X button, move it, let it become big, then drop it. So that is that. Now that we are done with drafting setting toolbar, at least for now, I'm going to show you if we need any of these other ones, like annotative objects, like isolate objects. Well, they are not too important. I've shown you two important things there. Now let's come to the command line, or what I call command interface. If you want to be frustrated with AutoCAD, don't pay attention to this. But if you want to enjoy AutoCAD, pay attention. This is not a threat, it's a fact. Now, in this command interface, this is where you communicate to AutoCAD, and AutoCAD communicates back to you. For example, I pick line here. I want to start line. I pick line here. What do you notice? The command interface is telling me, okay, you have picked line. Now specify first point. In physics, distance is a region between 2 points. The region between 2 points. So in AutoCAD, if you want to draw a line, you are going to make your line between 2 points. So AutoCAD is telling you, give me the first point. If I click here, what does AutoCAD say? Look at the command, it has changed. It says specify next point or undo. Now you can see the undo letter U is colored blue, it's highlighted. If I press U and press enter, it's going to cancel the command and go back to the previous one. Specify first point. I click, the command changes to specify next point. I click next. AutoCAD still believe I want to continue the line. It's still saying specify next point. How do I exit? I will press escape key in my keyboard. Very, very important. You will be familiar with this escape key on your keyboard. Press escape. I'm done with the line. So that is a command interface. Very, very important. This is where you talk to AutoCAD. This is where AutoCAD talks back to you. Let's delete this line. You just click on it. It changes to dotted line. Then you press delete key on your keyboard, or you click on erase under modify tools. I will talk about that later. Now, all this command I'm picking here under draw panel, I can type L. There are three ways to start line command. You click line, can click line button, or you type letter L and press enter. The same thing is going to happen. Let me clear it by pressing escape button. If I type line in full, line, even there is IntelliSense. AutoCAD is giving me suggestion. Okay, we call it IntelliSense or auto completion. Now I type line, I press enter. The same thing is going to happen. Either I type line, I press enter, I type letter L, I press enter, or I click this button. I will still have line command telling me specify the first point. So please, pay attention to command line in AutoCAD, and I believe that with this introduction we can comfortably start doing something with AutoCAD. But before I close this session, let's look at what I call view cube. View cube. Now, this view cube, you can use it to change the view of your drawing. By default, the default view of AutoCAD is top view. That is plan view. So I am drawing in plan view. As I'm drawing, this is a plan view. Now, if I click on west, it shows me the side view of my drawing. If I click on this right hand side, this arrow here, it goes back to front view. If I click here, it goes to top view. If I click the arrow here, it shows me front, and so on. Now, when you move your mouse away, some buttons will disappear. But when you move your mouse close to it, you will see this home button. When you click on it, it returns your drawing to 3D home view. And you notice an icon here. We call it UCS icon. I think I need a drawing board here. Okay, let me use Notepad. UCS icon. That is it. That is the name of the icon. So we make use of that icon, and that icon is showing me Z axis. What does that mean? It means I'm in 3D view. But when I click on top, look at it. Here I have top. I don't want to expand because my recording hands. Look at this green something. So I don't want to expand this thing to full size. It's going to cut away this part. Now, here, look at my mouse. If I click on top, it returns me back to top view. I'm in 2D view, two-dimensional view. Only Y and X axis are shown here. But when I click on this home button, it changes my view to 3D view. So that means under this drafting and annotation, I can work in 2D and 3D. So that is why most of the time I tell students that you let your workspace be in drafting and annotation. Alright, so that is view cube. This cube, we call it view cube, to change your view. So to left, front, top. But you can even rotate it by holding this circle down and begin to rotate. You see that? You can rotate. But I'm going to show you a cooler way of rotating your drawing by coming to what we call navigation bar. This is navigation bar. A lot of things are going on here. We have pan tool, like a hand, shape of a hand. When you click on it, your cursor change to a hand. You can move your drawing about by pressing the left mouse of the left button on your mouse. Press it down. You can move your drawing all about. Then we have zoom tool. You can zoom, extend, zoom window, zoom previous, and so on. You can zoom all to show all the drawing. And you can zoom real time. You click on zoom real time. You press the left button on your mouse and you begin to drag in to reduce the view out. You drag out. You can drag out by dragging on your mouse keypad. But I would recommend you use external mouse. With external mouse, I'm using scroll button on my external mouse now. So with external mouse, life becomes easier for you. Life becomes easier. I press escape button to escape that command. Then we have orbit. That is the cooler way of rotating your drawing. That is what I was referring to, orbit. You press escape button on your keyboard to exit that. Things appear distorted. How do you make them right? You go to the home button here, then you change to top view or any view you want. So that is how you work in between this. Then here we have show motion. Okay, you can record your drawing, what you are doing, you can record it and replay it under that. So this is, then we have steering wheel. Okay, I nearly overlooked that. We have steering wheel. Okay, see that you can use it to rotate your drawing too. So you go back to home, turn to top view. So that is what we do with this interface. Now getting comfortable with AutoCAD interface matters a lot. So please watch these two videos again and again. In the next video, we are going to start the proper introduction, to AutoCAD basics. Thank you for listening.